Arg! Ahoy there, matey! Welcome aboard the world of boating.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I was just looking into buying a boat of my own.
Call World of Boating toll-free now at 1-8888-28-BOAT. That's 1-888-828-BOAT.
And welcome. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, Barry the Boater, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information on this holiday weekend. Remember, give the gift of boating. It's the perfect gift for the boat enthusiast on your list, even if they're not into it. Just give them a boat ride, a certificate for a free ride on your boat. It'd be the perfect gift, always the right color, fits every time. And, we're just here to remind you of that very simple fact that could make your holiday shopping just a little bit more pleasant during this season. All right, so we've talked about this before. There's some scuttlebutt online. The boating industry is, I don't know, they find themselves at the end of the year in a hizzy. Is that right? Is that how you term it there, Mike the Mariner? Tizzy.
Absolutely.
They're having a hissy fit online. Yeah. The NMMA has put out a bunch of online stuff. I mean, they're freaking out because there's a proposal about limiting boats from 35 to 65 feet and putting a speed limit on them in federal waters. It's a proposal that's been put out there to save the right whale. And we did talk about this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, but it seems to be coming to a head, especially when you look online this week, because the fishing community, the boating community has really come out full force trying to educate everybody of what this potentially means and how it could potentially hurt the boating industry overall. I mean, I'm seeing figures of like $50 billion could be spent trying to accommodate this rule. I mean, I don't know where all the facts are on this, but it seems, as we mentioned before, that it's a little government overreach, maybe. Mike, I'll let you have the floor first. What do you think?
Well, think about this. The entire east coast of the United States, from Florida to Maine, in some areas out to 100 miles, could be speed limit to 10 knots.
Right.
And that is in all of those waters for about 7 months out of the year in some of those areas. I think they're varying the locations. But think about it if you're a sport fishing charter that goes out for tuna or marlin, and you typically run 20 to 25 miles out to sea to go take your charters out for their fishing day.
Yeah.
You literally business. You cannot do that anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. It seems a little bit extreme to me. Barry the Boater, what say you?
Well, I'm looking at the map, and it's not all of Florida. It ends at Titusville, around the Cape area, and it goes out from, I guess, where federal waters start to about 100 miles, and then it goes all the way up to, where is that, Massachusetts. So I got a picture of the map here.
Well, that's pretty much the East Coast there.
It's the East Coast there, but it's not all of South Florida first. Second of all, it's during certain times of the year. There are 5 different proposals that they were going through when they created this document back in July. People have had a chance till September 30th to put their input into it. And so far, I looked at the register, where all the rules are, what do they call it? Something register. The Federal Register, and nothing's happened to it since then at this point. And this document was updated as of 12/17/2022 at 12:15 p.m.
Okay.
That's
so what do you don't think this is a big issue? It sounds like.
No, I didn't say it's not a big issue. I'm just saying that, you don't pull the fire alarm until you actually see a fire.
Or you try to keep it from the fire from starting. I think that's why the NMMA has been launching a campaign.
Well,
just one organization for boating.
Right, and there was Viking. I read about Viking, which apparently most of their fishing boats run within that portion of 35 to 65 feet, so it
Right.
would affect them, and they're used for offshore fishing. So
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing that it could really hurt boaters, but I think before someone, pulls the alarm, you really need to read the document, read what they've done so far, and then look at both sides of the story, and you come up with a compromise if you need to. But until it gets passed, and I mean, if it doesn't get passed this year, next year things are going to be different in Congress. So who knows what'll happen then?
But Patrick, what say you?
Well, the one reason why we talked about it back when it first came out was because there was a period of where the public could submit comment on the proposal. So if anybody feels that this is not a good thing, I think we kind of gave fair warning that this was coming, and here's the process for going and making your voice heard. And at this point, if you feel that this is not a good thing, reach out to your elected representative and make your voice heard.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't think this is a bad thing. I don't think it's going to keep anybody from boating. I don't think it's going to put anybody out of business, even charter boats. It's going to take them a little bit longer to get out to where they need to go, but it is all manageable. And as Barry said, it's not a complete shutdown. It's not the entire East Coast. It's not 12 months, from January to December. We have to.
After what?
Boaters being some of the most ardent conservationists out there, this is something that we need to do to protect the life that's out in the ocean. And this is something that the right whales are vital to the ecosystem out in the ocean. We don't want to.
Nobody wants to kill
off a-
whales. I think
kill off a
we all
species.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you
So-
think? Mike?
Well, I think I can you hear me?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
think that the issue is this is, in my opinion, a massive overreach. I mean, limiting boats to 10 knots for 100 miles offshore for the majority of the entire eastern seaboard of the United States is absolutely going to negatively affect the boating industry.
Yeah.
You say it a little bit longer. The difference between 10 knots and 22 or 23 knots for a fishing boat going out to the fishing grounds is massive.
Right.
You're-
That's a
you're
day
talking
trip
about-
versus a 2-day trip now.
Yeah, but
Potentially.
it's doubling
Yeah.
doubling the time it takes to get out there. And most boats between 35 and 65 feet can cruise, unless it's a trawler, can cruise in the 20s, right? If you're limited to 10 knots, it adds to your trip. B, you're not using the boat for the purpose it was designed, because you're not on plane. You're at displacement speeds. For a boat like mine I have a planing hull.
Yeah.
So I'd be basically using it like a trawler for the entire seaboard of the United States. And a sport fish like a Viking that can cruise at 35 knots, it's just it's going to affect us in ways that people haven't predicted yet.
You kind of have to wonder how many people actually take their boat in that size range and go further off than 100 miles offshore. Probably not a lot. I'm guessing the majority of people stay closer to shore in that regard, in that size frame too. So if they're limited to 10 knots, it's like, why have any power more than that? There's really not much need for it. And then so they got all this extra juice that they've paid for that they're not going to be able to use. And I did look at the rule proposal, and even according to their own statistics, they're saying this could affect the boating industry upwards of $50 billion from this rule. Now, that's their own, proposal is in there. Now, even if it was less than that, that seems like a heck of a lot of money to me. But we'll continue this conversation because I just wonder, if it's that much money. And there's about 350 right whales. Maybe they put trackers on all of them for less than $50 billion. What do you think? Is that an idea? I don't know. We'll solve the world's problems next.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
Be an explorer in the other two-thirds of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Even Keatley wasn't ready for me, or anything that followed. Chased by a police department, led by his ex-girlfriend, and hunted by brain fork-wielding Fijian assassins, it's everything he can do to keep from getting locked up, killed, or worse. Kava Screw is available as an ebook for $2.99 at Amazon.com. Kava Screw. Put a brain fork in him. He's done.
Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the world of boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
There's something swell about the spirit of Christmas, to see what it does to people, all kinds of people.
When you hear bells, when you hear bells are ringing and voices swell with all the carols singing, that's how you tell it's time to do the Christmas cha-cha-cha. Cha-cha-cha. Christmas cha-cha-cha.
Well, I don't need anything more for Christmas than this right here.
If you say so. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, Barry the boater, Mike the mariner, rounding out the crew. All right. Well, as far as this potential speed limit for boaters along the East Coast, we'll have to see where it goes. I don't know if they could come up with a better solution than just closing it off to all the boaters 100 miles offshore, 35 to 65 feet to protect the right whale. When you look at all the data, too, I'll just say, they're basing this on it looks like I'm oversimplifying the numbers, but it looks like there's a boating incident with a right whale about once a year, according to the numbers on that
how many
rule.
Whales?
Once a year. If you just do the numbers, they're about 350. That's what they think. 350 around the world.
And they don't multiply very quickly, not like us.
I agree. So 350 whales. Yeah. You got $50 billion potentially affecting the boating industry. Why don't you take $20 billion and use it to set up trackers on each one of those 350 whales, and then put them up on their GPS or so they can avoid them, as opposed to just shut it down. How's
they
that?
could pipe in Barry White music during mating season.
Yeah, but what about that? Just track the 350 whales and put it up. Figure out something. Where's Elon Musk when we need him? Maybe he could solve this problem and make everybody happy.
Right now.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he's a little busy with his Twitter.
He's got a few things on his plate. Right
yeah, it could be. But look, it'd just be one more thing he could do. And like say, he's kind of a busy guy, but he's always taking on new projects. So maybe this could be one. Save the whales and make the boaters happy too. I don't know. It's just an idea. It just seems kind of extreme to me, but we will have to wait and see where this goes and how the boating industry fares in this potential, proposal. So moving on. Captain Patrick has been monitoring our World of Boating Facebook news. Do we have some stuff we got to do in that regard, or alert people to our passengers? What do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, we've got news, but I just wanted to leave the right whale story with this particular comment. Okay.
Okay.
The restrictions that have been enacted, especially here in Florida with manatees,
right,
did not kill the boating industry, did not kill commercial fishing, did not kill anyone's livelihood. So I think everybody just needs to take a deep, deep breath. Again, contact your local your elected representative, make your voice heard, put together a group, a coalition, however you want. And if you feel strongly about it, then let them know. But this thing where it's going to be the death of this and the death of that is
well, it's a little different too. The manatees are zones, not necessarily an entire East Coast shut down. But Mike the Mariner, what do you think?
This is
Who's laughing? What's funny about that?
No.
It's
Have
the
you
truth.
been on the Intracoastal lately?
Yeah,
I know.
I have.
This is exponentially more impactful than the manatee.
How so? What do you think, Mike?
Well, the manatee restrictions in place are nowhere near as far-reaching as this.
Well, that's what I said. Yeah,
swaths of the ocean we're talking about, not intercoastal waterway.
Right. It's 100 miles offshore, Barry. It's a little different than the intercoastal being put up with speed limits.
But if I'm running a fishing charter on the St. John's and I'm based out of where Mike is, out on Lake Monroe, and I got to get up to Lake George, back in the day, I could make that run in about 30 minutes. Now it's a 3-hour run up the river.
Or they go out of the intercoastal and go up the coast.
There are only 3 manatee zones between here and Lake George.
I understand, but you're on plane, you're off plane, you're on plane, you're off plane. Yeah. Plus, they've got speed restrictions on top of the manatee zones.
It's 25 miles an hour river.
Correct.
In the areas where you're not in the manatee zone, there's 3 manatee zones. The longest one is 2.5 miles long. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a restriction that puts a 10-knot limit from Florida to Massachusetts.
Not all of Florida.
Not all of Florida, but all the way down to the Cape.
That's pretty extreme.
From Cape Canaveral north to Massachusetts, 10-knot speed limit.
Right. It would be certain times.
Is totally different than the manatee.
7 months out of the year, Barry.
And it would roll out.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I noticed part of it's in the winter. I don't know who would want to go out during that time of year.
Well,
it's rough out there.
I don't know.
Most recreational boaters aren't going that far off the East Coast, except for these guys.
Yeah, okay.
Except for Kevin Hyde and Joe DiMisasso, who left Oregon Inlet, North Carolina, to sail for Jupiter, Florida.
Want
to guess where they were found?
Well, wait. They were heading south, but they're in the Intracoastal, right?
Oh, no. Wait, they were offshore.
Oh, they must have been off like North Carolina or something then.
Okay.
Way north. They must have gone way north.
Yeah, but they were heading from north to south, right?
They were found. I believe they were missing almost like 10 days.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
heard.
They were found 214 miles east of Delaware.
Oh my God.
Well, I didn't say
slightly
the
off course.
Yeah.
That's a myth.
And here's my thing. I don't believe these guys actually know how to sail, because I think from what I read, they were relying on engine power. And I think they had a problem with the engine, or it ran out of fuel. And apparently neither of them knew how to hoist the sail, because you're on a sailboat.
That's okay.
So what's the moral of that story?
Top off your tank before you leave.
Stick to the intercoastal.
Yeah.
Have an idea of what you're doing. Better yet, hopefully you filed the float plan. 2, you've got communication equipment that can send out a distress signal to where, by the grace of God, this tanker found them, because they were part of. Of course, everybody's alerted. All commercial traffic, private vessels, be on the lookout. And this tanker actually spotted them and was able to rescue these two guys and I think a couple of their dogs or something like that. So one more reason not to go that far offshore.
Okay.
Unless you know what you're doing.
Well, yeah, and what, the tanker take out 2 right whales on the way to pick them up?
No.
Hey,
Too soon?
hey.
Too soon? Okay,
No,
sorry.
Too soon.
15 manatees, though.
Of
Yeah.
course. Of course. Well, there you go. All right. Well, yeah, so don't be those guys. You know, get
Yeah,
the
don't
proper
be those
training.
guys.
And so you don't end up, like living out a real life adventure of Gilligan's Island. I mean, they're luckily they were found.
3-hour tour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right, now I would imagine we got a
if you
few
got a
other
sailboat, know how to sail.
news nuggets to share with our passenger today. Give us a little tease of what's coming up there, Patrick, because we're almost out of time for this segment. What do we got? What do you think?
We got a near miss, and we've got a story about wordplay.
Okay, wordplay like
Wordplay.
Wordle for World of Boating.
No, not like Wordle. I want to get your guys' definition when I say put these two words together. What comes to mind?
Okay, that's next.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 PSI left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Do you have a message or product you need to share with the boating world? Well, look no further than the World of Boating radio show. Just like you, thousands of boating enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to worldofboating.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I am Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick Barry, the boater, and Mike the Mariner rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information on this holiday weekend. Hopefully you're given the gift of boating. Once again, we're here to remind you that every Saturday leading up to the big day. And, even after, give the gift of boating. It's the gift that's always the right color, right size, and it keeps on giving throughout the year. All right, so boating news and information. We got a few little news nuggets that we can share with our passengers. Do we not, Patrick?
We do. When I say massive yacht, what comes to mind?
Wait, what? Say that again. What kind of yacht?
200 foot or bigger.
Oh, mega yacht.
No.
What?
Massive yacht.
Massive yacht.
What comes to mind when I say massive yacht? First impression. What comes
wiener.
to mind?
No. Okay. Maybe not.
I would say something around 200 foot, but that may be mega.
Yeah, 200
so
foot plus.
Sure.
I'm going to go with that, too.
All right, you guys are way off.
According to who?
According to Local 10 ABC News down in Palm Beach area.
Fake news.
Massive yacht demolished after washing up on Pompano Beach.
That one? Oh, jeez. That thing's been sitting out there since the storm brought it in.
I understand.
Yeah, I know. Massive.
It's 50 foot.
Yeah.
A 50 foot. Yeah, it's all perspective, I guess. If you have Barry 17-foot Triumph, a 50-foot boat would be a massive yacht. So
they always look bigger out of the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Out of the no, actually they look bigger underwater. Actually, that's a scientific fact.
Now we got.
Yeah.
We got a story about that too coming up.
Okay.
Mike, as a reminder to our our listeners, how big is your massive yacht?
It's a Silverton 39.
39.
Okay, so not massive.
It's not massive,
but
it's just below massive. It's medium yacht.
Just below massive.
You know, if Jerry had been smart, he would have come down here with his pick-em-up truck and towed that thing back in the water and had himself a boat that he wanted.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Jerry
don't
the
think-
diver
I
guy
don't-
who was looking for a boat.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think
yeah.
you'd want that thing after sitting up on the beach like that.
Right.
Someone wrote SS Minnow on it.
Well,
I kid you not, they put SS Minnow on the back of the boat on this aft end.
kind of appropriate, possibly in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all perspective. So they called it a massive yacht, and Patrick was like, "You guys are kind of nuts."
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I massive yacht, I guess too. I mean, 200 foot and above, I would put in the super yacht category. So I guess if you made super yacht a measurement, I'd put 200 foot, and maybe massive yacht, maybe 50 to 200. You think that's fair,
This would
Barry?
be- this
What do you, Barry? I'll go with you. What do you? Does that sound reasonable?
Well, actually, I'm sure there's some kind of rule, and Patrick would know what considers to be a yacht.
Oh no,
No, there's no
There's
rule.
no
to
rule.
it?
It's very subjective.
all right.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it is not subjective. Here's what happens for boat builders when they do their certifications through the NMMA and the Coast Guard. So those BIA plates, boat information plates that get attached to the boats, designate capacity. Okay.
Yeah.
You would be surprised because I think we've mentioned this on air before. You will find boats in the 24-foot range that have yacht certification.
Okay. So they could
Okay.
still be under the massive yacht category. But I'm saying if you get into if you refer to a boat as a super yacht, I think thinking it's over 200 foot or maybe even 150. I might put it right
Yeah,
there.
but it's,
Yeah.
so super yacht is a subjective rating. It's either
It
a yacht
is.
or it's not.
So then you have super yacht, you have mega yacht. What is the biggest yacht of them all?
No. Well, according to Greg, it's every cruise ship he goes on because he doesn't tell people he's going on a cruise ship. He goes, "I'm going on a mega yacht."
Well, there's mega yacht and then there's cruise ship. Yeah. I don't know what the official footage number would be,
but
but I think it's all
discussed-
very subjective, isn't it? There's no official designation of what makes something a super yacht from a legality or manufacturer standpoint, is there, Patrick?
No, it's merely boasting rights, and it's a moving target. We've discussed this before. There's no you're not going to find my boat has been constructed and it has a rating of super yacht because that's
Right.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but I think if you went to the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, I think most of the people in attendance there would say, okay, if it's over 150, that counts as like a super yacht. That's in the super yacht category. But then the 50 to 150 range, you could put massive yacht on there or big yacht, depending on what you want to. You could add some flurry there.
Micro,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my old Sea Ray 290, 29-foot Sea Ray had a yacht certification. So it
Right.
was,
Yeah, but not massive yacht.
But it was but it was really a boat.
Yeah.
and
Does it have anything to do with weight or displacement?
Yes.
Then?
What happens is when you have a capacity plate, it'll show how many passengers and or weight the boat has been rated to carry. When it attains yacht certification, it is left up to the discretion of the owner or the captain of the vessel as to how many people they can safely put aboard along with gear and operate that vessel in a safe manner.
Yeah.
So
but
they
that doesn't
don't put a
mean
maximum capacity of people.
Right. Well, and there's no level of the amount of people it can carry that means it can be designated officially as a yacht. Once you just said it's up to the owner. You know, if they want to have bragging rights, I got a 23-foot yacht. You're welcome.
That's right. and technically, you could put 50 people on that boat, and the Coast Guard stops you for overloading.
Yeah.
And they probably still get you for unsafe operation, but you'd be like, My boat is yacht certified, sir, and there's no capacity.
Mhm.
6 inches of
Yeah,
water
but you
line
better have a
left.
PFD for each one of those people.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah.
better.
I'm gonna go take Surprise out and have her recertified as a yacht.
Well, you don't have to do anything. You just have to officially designate it yourself. And then
He's gonna
when
have
you
to put
say,
a porta potty on.
well, does he? Is that's not official either, is it? It doesn't have to have a head in order to be called a. Barry could call his 17-foot Triumph a yacht, and he could tell us right there at the dock, "Hey, welcome aboard my yacht." And then as soon as he walk away, we'd laugh like little school children, going, "He's an idiot. This isn't a yacht." But let him have his moment.
Now, it does not have to have a head, does not have to have a galley. It's merely the certification that
You just have to have a delusional captain or boat owner to do it. But
it's what the boat manufacturer, the yacht builder, what certification they have attained for that particular model.
Well, and plus, I would imagine, if it's over 50 foot, the giggles will start to subside. Are you guys with me on that? As it goes
Unless
up in
you're
length.
on the 250 footer.
Well, then you're talking about, super yacht and, mega
Well,
super
because that
yacht.
50 footer is merely the chase boat.
Right. It's the
And
dinghy.
Surprise is just a dinghy.
Oh,
No,
I didn't
Surprise
hear
is
that.
the dinghy.
He called it a yacht, but it was the yacht dinghy of the other yacht. That's what he meant. Yeah, all right. More coming up on the World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network. You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Christmas means glittering lights, gaily wrapped gifts. That's right, sounds of laughter and good cheer. To the folks at Preparation Age, it means a time to pause for a few moments.
This is the World of Boating. You're welcome, and we apologize at the same time, but it is the holiday season, which allows us to play annoying songs like that to get you in the mood for going to the restroom or the holidays, depending on your perspective. I am Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick Barry, the boater, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew. All right, what else do we have to share with our passengers today on this holiday weekend there, Patrick? What do you think?
Well, I actually got a story here, Greg, that I think you will actually be interested in, and we can get some insight from you.
First
for a
time
change.
ever. Okay, go. Hit me.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. A scuba diver out in Hawaii was able to record a near miss with a boat.
All right.
Christopher Lastra.
Chris Kringle.
was
Got it.
spearfish-
Okay. Yeah.
was spearfishing off Magic Island and returned to the surface to find himself directly in the path of an oncoming boat approaching at high speed. And if you want to see this video, go to worldofboating.com or like us on Facebook. Check us out on Facebook because it is posted there, and it is frightening.
I'm sure.
He was able to move out of the way and avoid injury with only his flipper being damaged by the vessel's propeller, which that's pretty much a strike. I'm going to call that a boat strike. However, there's more to the story, and this is where I want your input, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Lastra admitted the close call was his own fault as he was diving without a buoy or a flag to mark his location.
Yep. Bad move.
Yeah.
Right.
Bad move. Real-
Mhm.
I should have had a buoy out there. I knew the law, and I just decided not to bring it.
Mm.
Wow.
So for our listeners, Greg, so we know what to look for when we're out on the water. What is the marked difference between a buoy and a flag when it comes to divers marking their location?
Well, it shouldn't be any difference because a buoy should have a dive flag on it if you are diving. And I think it has to be a minimum of 18 inches square at the moment. And they're actually looking at updating that to make it even bigger. and forcing the dive flags to be made differently and more visible, and that kind of thing, especially in the state of Florida. There's some potential legislation coming down the pike here next year. So we'll see where that goes. So, most divers, I mean, this is kind of diving 101 type stuff. Barry will back me up on this. I mean, this is one of the first things you learn when you're out diving by yourself, out, along the coast, especially, whether it's Florida, California, Hawaii, doesn't matter, anywhere in the world. If you're diving without a dive flag, you are playing Russian roulette. Even the dogs agree, see?
Even the dogs. Yeah, you really need to have a dive flag.
Yeah.
You're out there in the morning and you see a 1 foot square dive flag that's only about 1.5 feet or 2 feet off the water. It's hard to see in the morning.
It is. Even with the dive flag, you still should be diving with your head on a swivel when you come back to the surface, especially if you're in any kind of boating lane. And I've had it happen before where a boat came way too close for my comfort. When I was in the islands of the
you
Caribbean.
were underwater one time when I took you out.
Well, that's usually what I do when I dive.
A ship wanted to go underneath you.
Yeah.
How many passes before you missed them, Barry?
Oh, not me. Yeah.
Wasn't him.
I had a discussion with the Coast Guard over that one.
All right.
Ship. Yeah.
I'd say
also when you're diving.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike. What? Also when you're diving?
The service, if you want to listen for, you can hear a boat.
You can, but here's the problem. Sound underwater is very difficult to tell the direction. So if you hear any boating engines at all going, you can hear them far off. You should definitely have your head on a swivel. I'll tell you, my closest call was in the island diving off the island of Saba. And this is a pretty remote island. And sure enough, we were diving off the coast in a fairly remote area off the island of Saba. And all of a sudden we were coming up and doing our surface interval at about 15 feet. And I'm hearing the motors, but I'm looking around and I'm like, golly, where is that coming from? Because you can't tell. And sure enough, as soon as I start looking around, this thing goes right over our heads. And if we would have went up just another 5 feet, we could have been taken out. So, I mean, they're zipping through areas, whether you have a dive flag or not, depending on where you are in the world. So even if you do have a dive flag, it may not matter because the boater may not understand what that dive flag even means. Or they're just oblivious to it or not paying attention or whatever. So
look, somebody's listening to Van Halen out on the water. Diver down. Yay!
Don't get it. Don't get it at all. But yeah. It's it's you got to take personal responsibility when you're diving to a certain extent too, and it's all about education and things like that when you learn how to scuba dive. But if you use some common sense, you can keep yourself out of trouble. I mean, the guy admitted it. He was kind of a dope for diving without a flag or a buoy. That's just you're asking for trouble when you do stuff like that. So at least he was good enough to admit it, that he made a bonehead mistake and it almost cost him his life. So
and if there's any better education out there than that video, that should be something I would think that anybody doing any type of dive certification would probably want to use, as part of it. Look, this is what happens.
Yeah. Well, the better video is just showing the accidents afterwards and what the boat does to the people.
No.
It's like Scared Straight type stuff. So
well, no, Greg, you actually want people to dive.
Well,
that might actually keep them out of the water.
I don't know. I mean, but once again, to me, it's like common sense. If you're trained properly, you should know better to do that. But people are going to do dumb things. There ain't no doubt. And hopefully we'll weed those people out over time, and they don't screw it up for the rest of us in the meantime. But
Darwin's
we'll see.
Law.
Yeah. What else we got, Patrick?
Moving out to Las Vegas. I'm not moving out. The news story is moving out to Las Vegas. Lake Mead boaters have taken frustrations about potential launch closures. They organized this big 30-boat rally out on the Las Vegas Strip because they're upset about these potential ramp closings out on Lake Mead due to the historic water levels, the lake being very, very extremely low. So around 30 boats and jet skis were pulled by cars down the Las Vegas Strip in an effort to bring awareness to potential changes to the National Park Service, lowering due to the water levels. Here's the thing, though. These drivers at times would stop traffic while encouraging pedestrians and other cars to look at the signs attached to their windows. You're not winning any friends there, folks.
No, it was more like they couldn't use the boat on the water, so they just put everyone in the boat and dragged them down the strip.
Time
And
to tailgate.
stop traffic.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Maybe.
God.
Well,
And then
what are they upset
they
about?
Tied them all together. Yeah.
What's the solution, though? Just the we need more water in Lake Mead, or that?
Yeah. I would get to work on it, Greg.
Well, no, I'm saying they're limiting the boat ramps. What do the boaters want them to do if they can't get the boats in?
They're looking at potentially closing 5 boat ramp locations on Lake Mead to be closed indefinitely, and that's because of the historic low water levels. So what they've been doing, of course, if you've been monitoring the situation out there, they'll back down the ramps, or they're just launching off the shorelines and just taking their vehicles and driving down the lake beds to get down to the water to where they can eventually get in and launch their boats. And it makes for an unsafe condition for launching and or recovering. And so they're not real clear, other than they want their boat ramps left open and they want to be able to drive down to the end of the boat ramps, then down onto the dry lake beds to get out to where the water is, so that they can go and enjoy the dwindling resource that is Lake Mead.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they can extend the boat ramps for the boaters. Is that a possibility too?
Let's lay more
Hundreds of
concrete.
yards.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We got to find out what they want, other than just don't shut it down. All right. Well, that'll
Water,
have to do
Greg,
it.
They want water.
That'll have to do it
protesting
for
the nature.
this week. But till next time, remember, whether it's sail or motor,
Life is better as a boater.
safe boating, everyone.
Come back here, you barnacle-bitten swab!
World of Boating is brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Any of this getting through to you, son?
World of Boating is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Computer standing by.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past shows worldwide over the internet at worldofboating.com.
Computers can do that?
So tell a friend and come aboard every week for the World of Boating.
This is so great. I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps. Feel me. Feel me.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The opinions you just heard on the World of Boating are those of the hosts, callers, and guests. They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
What are you being such a weenie for?
While on the water, your safety and the safety of many others depends on you. So boat smart and operate your vessel only after receiving the proper training and instruction for your area.
There is a fine line between genius and madness.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at worldofboating.com.